The Fisher Foundation recently funded multiple dehornings of white rhino in the Reitvlei Game Reserve and donated a number of tracking collars to assist with the Habitat team's anti-poaching efforts in this urban reserve close to Pretoria in South Africa.
This is our 10th year we've been dehorning here. We have to dehorn quite a number of rhino. We'll attempt to dehorn most of them. If we can get about halfway with the population today, it will be good. We'll start soon, and as we find them, we'll prep darts and dart them.
So we've been involved at Reitvlei for about 7 years now, where we've assisted with the dehorning process. Reitvlei being such an urban reserve, it's quite important that we keep the horns trimmed. Obviously the trimmed horns mean that it's far less reward for the poachers that would potentially come into the reserve, and there's significant poaching pressure on this reserve just simply because of its location so close to Pretoria.
We haven't lost a rhino to poaching in 10 years, which just shows that for a very urban reserve, the effort we put in and the risks we take is well worth it. I think let's get going, because we've got quite a bit of a drive to get to where we think the rhinos are.
So rhino, with their horns on and in safe habitats that breed naturally, is the ultimate goal of what we want to achieve with conservation, because that means that the landscape is safe. When rhinos are safe, you have other species that are also safe. Unfortunately, that's not the case everywhere. You've got wildlife criminals that want to harvest the horn illegally because there's a high value to that horn, even though it's just keratin. The demand for it is in another continent, so to be able to break that sort of supply line when it's already established is quite difficult. So the most practical and pragmatic way to actually get the risk reduced is to take that asset away. And in a park like this with limited resources, that's definitely one of the primary tools in the toolbox, but obviously it's a short to medium term solution. But in the meantime, while there's maybe other things being put in place, a yearly dehorning is one of the best ways to deter the criminals away from here, because the little stump that's left at the moment is not really worth their while and their risk to take to come and kill them illegally.
So we've completed 3 rhinos for the day. 2 of the rhinos have already been fitted with VHF tracking collars, so this is basically this unit over here. The Fisher Foundation has kindly provided 6 of these collars for Reitvlei Dam Nature Reserve for the rhinos. We only really fitted onto the large adult animals as their growth has pretty much stabilized. And these VHF collars allow the reserve management to monitor the rhinos on a daily basis. Even in a small reserve like this, sometimes it is very difficult to find the rhinos. So it also saves a lot of time, and you can't manage what you don't know. Every year we try to make that the city does not need to spend money on this project because they often don't have the funds. So if it wasn't for organisations like the Fisher Foundation, these operations simply wouldn't happen, which means that the rhinos would be at risk all the time. So we're just really thankful that they made this possible today.
And there's a never-ending need for this type of critical intervention. And we're in good hands working with the Faculty of Veterinary Science from Onderstepoort with their chief vet, as well as the Wildlife Emergency Fund and the City of Tshwane. A wonderful opportunity to make a difference in this critical area.
Well, I think having rhinos in a reserve that's close to an urban centre gives access to them from a relevance point of view. And I think if rhinos aren't relevant to people that live in cities and relevant to people that live next to them in communities, it's very difficult to get any what we call strategic depth.
It's been quite a success story at Reitvlei. I must say it is quite an intensive dehorning project because it's such a high throughput reserve in terms of tourists and people that you can't really regulate. So we've been dehorning every year for the past 10 years. Most of the animals get done on a yearly basis, and as I said, no animals lost to poaching. We've actually been so successful that we've had to relocate some animals. It's an unfortunate event that we need to do is dehorn rhino. It's one of those that I wish we never need to do again, but currently it's one of our best options for fairly high-risk reserves. You can get away with not dehorning, but then your anti-poaching needs to be phenomenal, and even then it's high risk.
The Fisher Foundation wishes Reitvlei Game Reserve every success with their rhino population, and we look forward to supporting and collaborating on conservation projects in the future.